Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is your favorite show, Daily Calls, a show that addresses all your stock-related queries. In case you've been having some doubts about the stocks you hold in your portfolio, whether it's the right time to add some more, exit a few, switch over to something else, then all your questions can get addressed on this very show. Write into us on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on your screens if you're having some doubts and you want top market experts to guide you through some of those stock queries. Don't forget to mention your own name, your location and your contact details. Now you can also log on to YouTube on our Daily Calls show on Business Today and use the comment section there to send us some of your questions. We'll be happy to address all of those questions with our top guests as well. We will be getting a lot of those questions, but before I go there, let's look at how the markets are trading. Remember, it's now down 215 odd points on the Nifty. 24,700 and thereabouts is where we are trying to stabilize, but we did test that for a few times in the markets today. PSU banks, pharma, broader markets, consumer durables are the pockets that are holding up in this volatile set of the trade, but IT space has actually slipped quite a bit. It's the one that's the top loser, 1.5% lower. FMCG comes next with a percent loss. Financial services, realty, private banks, auto, infrastructure, metals, these are all the pockets that are actually down in the red at this point. On the Nifty, BEL is the top mover today, 4.4% higher. Geo Financial Services, Dr. Reddy's, Adani Ports are some of the top movers. Whereas on the downside, if you see, it's the IT pack like Infosys, HCL Tech, even Wipro, that's actually seeing some cuts. Eternal has lost about 2.5%. Power Grid, Hindalco, those are the other pockets that are actually seeing some kind of weakness persist. Let's actually look at the broader markets as well to see if there are some strong moves in the morning. There were many stocks that were holding up very strong. Even now, if you see, Care Ratings Agency is strong by about 12%. Suvin Life Sciences is 11.5% higher. Tanla Platforms is one of the top movers, about 10% up right now. Then you also have Autoline Industries. You have names like Inco Elecon, that's up in trade about 7%. Aarti Drugs is moving higher. Nelco. You also have Zaggle Prepaid reacting to its earnings, 6.5% higher. From the broader markets, there are many such names that are actually doing very well even in this very, very choppy set of the trades that we are looking at. On the Nifty Next 50 list, it's from the defense pack. Remember, we talked about BL as the top mover on the Nifty. HAL is now up by 4.3%, 4,631 back on HAL now. You can actually see slowly and steadily how HAL and BL have continued to improve over the last 1 month and they continue to hold up strong in this kind of a world where geopolitical conflict continues unabated. Canara Bank, Divi's Laboratories, Bank of Baroda, Adani Green Energy, Punjab National Bank, Avenue Supermarts, LIC, those are some of the other names that are doing well at this point in time. Now we'll be waiting by to speak to our guest, Mr. Kush Godasara, market expert, is now with us on the program. Kush, hi, warm welcome, good afternoon to you. Good to have you with us. Well, as of yesterday, it was a stupendous rally that we were celebrating on the back of ceasefire that D Street was penciling its high hopes on. But just a day later, we are seeing some volatility again come in. There have been some instances of breach of ceasefire from across the border overnight this morning as well. There has been some attempts to infiltrate some of the encounters taking place with terrorists. So the tensions are pretty high across the borders at this point in time, and we are still to see how the situation is carrying on. And there is this other fear that is now emerging on the trade front. So far, we had only been comfortable about that how US and India could be actually approaching with a negotiatory approach on the tariff front, and the only big concern was on whether US and China, two of the largest countries, will be at loggerheads when it comes to tariffs. Seems like things are absolutely changing at this point in time. With China, as of yesterday, the deals were announced on a positive side. Both the countries managed a 90-day pause with sharp reduction in the tariffs from US to China of about 30%, down from 145%. China's reciprocatory tariffs somewhere around 10%. But what we are hearing from US and India perspective is that the deal between the two countries could take some time. And now, as per the latest information that we have, is that the Indian government is deciding to put some, tariffs on counter tariffs of some of the US products at this point in time as well. So there is a big question mark as to whether India and US have hit a rough patch when it comes to the tariff talks. Those are the two biggest moving parts that are driving the market sentiments right now. Kush, what would you say?
Good afternoon and thank you for having me on the show. So definitely, starting with Indo-Pak tensions, I think now there might be few aftershocks, but I think we are ready for that. As yesterday DGMO press conference and what our Prime Minister said in the evening that we are ready. So if they shoot a bullet, we'll shoot a bomb. So I think that's now we are confident about that escalation. If there is an escalation, we are going to have a upper hand. So I think that part has been factored in. Coming to trade war, definitely, one thing is for sure, when we had seen a tariff war, people were talking about how US will cope up with the production and stuff. So now one thing after this decision is sure that Trump has realized that in such globalization, era, we cannot, cut out someone like China or India or maybe Southeast Asia who are, the biggest exporters to US. So definitely this is a first step that tariff wars are cooling off. Of course, it won't be normalized as it was before, but definitely we are not going to see high tariff as it was announced in April. So I think now we are back in strong momentum. Geopolitically, Russia-Ukraine truce, even Israel is cooling off. Only Indo-Pak, maybe a week's time. If we are not seeing any escalation, we will see a good up move in Indian market. So I'm a bit positive on Indian markets from current levels.
Okay, got that. So that's the view that's coming in. Kush, we have a lot of questions from our viewers. So we'll keep going back and forth to all the questions and keep understanding from you how are you approaching the markets in this fresh setup. Let's look at the questions coming in on our YouTube first. Kamlesh, Anuj Singh, Satya, Avdish, Ankur, Avnish Chaudhary, all of them are joining in with their questions. Warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining in with your questions early on. Let's start off with Kamlesh Narkire's question. He says, hi Sakshi, hi Kamlesh, how are you? His question is on Escorts, Kubota and on Trent. These are the two stocks that are coming afresh onto his radar and he wants to buy them for the long term. So let's look at both of them one by one to really understand how the stocks are really shaped up. On Escorts, if we see the kind of level that we are seeing at this point in time, you will see 3,520 odd levels, a 3% uptick on the share. In the last 1 month, if you look, the stock has moved up about 7.5%, even though the last 6 months has been absolutely sideways. But this fresh momentum, can it sustain, is the question. The other one is Trent. Remember, after a consolidation of the last 4-5 months, the stock again garnered momentum in the last 1 month. 10% of a momentum is what we saw. Any suggestion? Which one looks good, or are both good to hold at the current levels?
So starting with Escorts, definitely a good stock to even buy at current levels because stock is just coming out of resistance zone of 200-day average, which is at 3,500. So today, after almost as I look at the charts, after 6 months, we are about to break this resistance and close about the same level. So definitely a long-term turning point around for Escorts. So you can buy the stock with the stop loss of 3,300 or hold your existing position. On the upside, I believe first target would be at 3,740, above which we may see a 4,000 level. As you are investors, so the targets are a bit higher. Trend definitely a good stock to hold on for a long term. Today we have seen a good momentum, but I think still if you look at a weekly chart, 5,400 is the resistance level which we are not able to breach since last almost 18 sessions. So if you want to buy fresh, buy above 5,400. On the downside, now 50 to 50 is your stop loss. So with a strict stop loss at 50 to 50, you can definitely buy trend for long term. I believe stock could cross over 6,800 in a year's time. So both stocks are good, but you should keep your stop losses in place.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has answered your question, Kamlesh. Let's take another one. This one is Anuj Singh writing in, says, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon to you, Anuj. Hope you're doing well. BEL, Bharat Electronics is on his radar, the top moving stock on the Nifty today. इन्होंने लिखा है कि इनके पास ऑलरेडी ये शेयर्स हैं और 173 के रेट पर हैं, कुछ 125 शेयर्स हैं इनके पास और काफ़ी बढ़िया प्रॉफिट्स इनको होल्ड रहे हैं। तकरीबन अगर हम देखें तो 90-95% तक के इनको प्रॉफिट हो रहे हैं, तो बहुत ही अट्रैक्टिव लेवल पे इन्होंने एंट्री की बीएल पे और बढ़िया समय तक के लिए होल्ड किया है। सबसे पहले तो आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई। अनुज जी कि आपको इतना बढ़िया प्रॉफिट हो रहा है बीएल पे, ऑलमोस्ट 95% तक का रिटर्न आपको देखने को मिल रहा है। सवाल अब इनका ये है कि क्या अभी भी इस लगातार स्टॉक को होल्ड करना चाहिए इनको, या प्रॉफिट बुक करके निकल जाएं? कुछ कैसे एड्रेस करेंगे इसे?
मुझे लगता है इसको होल्ड करना चाहिए 317 के स्टॉप लॉस से। यू आर क्योंकि आपने एक लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर हो और इतना अच्छा मुनाफा हो रहा है, इतने अच्छे लेवल पे आपने बाइंग की है, तो 317 के स्टॉप लॉस से होल्ड कीजिए। क्योंकि आज जिस हिसाब से इस हफ्ते में इनफैक्ट जिस हिसाब से ब्रेकआउट आया है, तो इन वीकली चार्ट्स पे इन्वर्टेड हेड एंड शोल्डर का पैटर्न का ब्रेकआउट आया है। 317 उसका लेवल था, ट्रिगर पॉइंट, तो वो अब सपोर्ट रहेगा ऊपर की तरफ। मुझे लग रहा है कि जो टारगेट अभी फिलहाल एक्टिवेट हुआ है, मिनिमम इज 400 लेवल। सो डेफिनेटली आप होल्ड कीजिए, आपने इतने समय तक होल्ड किया है, थोड़ा रिस्क लीजिए, 317 का स्ट्रिक्ट स्टॉप लॉस रख के होल्ड कीजिए। अगर ये स्टॉक 400 आता है आने वाले कुछ महीनों में, तो वापस रिव्यू करके वहां पे प्रॉफिट बुक करेंगे।
Okay. Let's take another question, and this one is from Avdish Thakur. He says, "Hi, I want to know about Motherson Sumi wiring. 55 रुपए के लेवल पर इन्होंने होल्ड किया हुआ है, यहाँ से किस तरीके की रणनीति अपनाएं? मदरसन सुमी वायरिंग।
हाँ डेफिनेटली ये स्टॉक में मुझे लगता है लॉन्ग टर्म के हिसाब से आप होल्ड कर सकते हो। मदरसोनी वायरिंग में ये काफी लो बीटा स्टॉक है, तो लॉन्ग टर्म के हिसाब से 50 का स्टॉप लॉस लगा के होल्ड कीजिए इसको। फर्स्ट रेजिस्टेंस 61 का है जो 200 एवरेज है, बट इसके ऊपर अगर सस्टेन होता है एक या दो दिन, तो हम 85 का लेवल 2 साल में देख सकते हैं। तो मुझे लगता है यहाँ से 30 से 40% का अपसाइड है। सो होल्ड द स्टॉक, स्ट्रिक्ट स्टॉप लॉस 50 रुपीज, अपसाइड टारगेट 85 नेक्स्ट 2 years।
ओके, गॉट दैट। नेक्स्ट हम लेते हैं अंकुर मोदी का क्वेश्चन। ही सेज, हाय साक्षी, होप यू डूइंग वेल। आई एम वेरी वेल अंकुर, होप द सेम फॉर यू। कुड यू प्लीज गिव मी अ व्यू ऑन के फिनटेक एंड प्रोटीन ई गव एट द करंट लेवल्स, एंड आई कैन होल्ड फॉर बोथ लॉन्ग टर्म इफ यू सजेस्ट सो एट द करंट लेवल्स। के फिनटेक और यहाँ पर ब्लॉक डील्स की वजह से आज कुछ एक मोमेंटम नज़र आया था ऑन द नेगेटिव साइड, अभी भी अराउंड 4% तक के नीचे ट्रेड कर रहा है। दूसरा प्रोटीन ई गव, इन दोनों के चार्ट स्ट्रक्चर स्टडी करके बताइए कुछ, आपको कहाँ पर लगता है लॉन्ग टर्म में बेनिफिट हो सकता है?
हाँ डेफिनेटली के फिनटेक लॉन्ग टर्म में एक अच्छा सेक्टर है, लेकिन फिलहाल उसका जो चार्ट है वो 200 एवरेज के आसपास प्राइस उसका ओवर हो रहा है, जो 1050 के आसपास है। तो शायद अगर 1050 के नीचे ये अगर मूव होता है तो वी मे सी सम मोर डाउन साइड। बट इफ यू आर लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर तो होल्ड कीजिए के फिनटेक को। मुझे लग रहा है अगर 800 850 का लेवल आता है तो हम एवरेज करेंगे। सो डोंट आई डोंट रिकमेंड टू बुक लॉसेस, बट होल्ड ऑन। If at all we see some downside in K fintech, we'll leverage it out.
ठीक है, उम्मीद करते हैं यहाँ पर भी आपको राय मिल गई है। नेक्स्ट हमारे पास कुछ सवाल व्हाट्सएप के जरिए भी आ रहे हैं, तो कुछ कुछ क्वेश्चंस हम वहाँ से ले लेते हैं। मोहित का लुधियाना से सवाल है, ये स्टील अथॉरिटी इंडिया के बारे में पूछना चाह रहे हैं। सेल ऑलरेडी ही हैज़ 500 शेयर्स एट द रेट ऑफ 104 ऑन दिस वन। हिज टाइम होराइजन इज 3 years एंड ही वॉन्ट्स टू नो वॉट शुड हिज स्ट्रैटेजी बी। करंटली द स्टॉक इज एट 117, so he is sitting on profits. He has seen from 104 the stock up to 117 levels right now. Can he continue to hold on? What's the outlook for the next 3 years? Has he gotten at the right price, Kush?
Definitely, he has ended at a good level. In fact, if you look at the weekly chart, as he is a long-term investor, stock is taking support of 4. Of course, you will even enjoy the dividend payout. So hold with strict stop loss of 100.
Okay, fair point. I hope, Mohit, this has answered your question. Next, we have Maurya writing in from Bengaluru. He says, hi, I need an outlook on two stocks. One is Tata Power and the other one is Axis Bank for the May series only. So, a very short-term trading perspective is what he needs from you, Kush. On Tata Power, currently the stock is half odd percent higher at 393. Axis Bank is his second choice. For the May series, what should he do?
So definitely, being a short-term trader, I believe Tata Power is an investment stock. I mean, it's not a high beta. So I believe you are a future trader. Axis Bank is a stock which should you focus on. I believe Bank Nifty will outperform in coming 2 weeks. Uh, Axis Bank stop loss strictly at 1185. Target for the May series can be 1280.
ओके, गॉट दैट। आई होप यहाँ पर भी आपको पूरी तरीके से राय मिल गई है। नेक्स्ट हमारे पास क्वेश्चन आया है, ये अवनीश चौधरी हमें लिखते हैं, हाय साक्षी, आई नीड टू नो एंड आई नीड योर हेल्प। एक साल से फंसा हुआ हूँ इरिडा के शेयर में, क्या किया जाए? 198 के भाव पर लिया हुआ है, कुछ 3,500 शेयर्स हैं मेरे पास, और अब मैं जानना चाहता हूँ मेरे लिए क्या वे आउट है। इरिडा के शेयर्स में एक काफ़ी हमने डेफिनेटली वीकनेस देखी है काफ़ी लंबे अरसे से। पहले जब ये कंपनी लिस्ट हुई और लिस्ट होने के कुछ महीनों तक ज़बरदस्त रैली स्टॉक ने दिखाई, और ऑलमोस्ट हर दिन काफ़ी तेज़ मोमेंटम में इन्वेस्टर्स ने एंटर किया। बहुत लोग इसमें पीक में एंटर करते हुए नज़र आए, और उसके बाद से जो ये कंसोलिडेशन का फेस शुरू हुआ सितंबर अक्टूबर से, लगातार इस स्टॉक में भी वीकनेस आपको देखने को मिली। और अभी भी जब हमने बाज़ार में इम्प्रूवमेंट भी देखा है, निफ्टी के लेवल्स पे भी अगर आप देखेंगे अपने रीसेंट लो 21,700 के आसपास से अब तक 24,000 25,000 तक, इरिडा में किसी भी तरीके का उस तरीके का मोमेंटम वापस नहीं आया है। कुछ 198 पर खरीदा हुआ है, 30 रुपये प्रति शेयर का लॉस है, बड़ी क्वांटिटी में खरीदा हुआ है, एक साल से वेट कर रहे हैं, क्या करें?
डेफिनेटली अगर एक साल से आप वेट कर रहे हो सर, तो अभी एक एक और साल वेट कर लो। मुझे लगता है कि अच्छा खासा मुनाफा इरडा में हो सकता है। एज ए डिस्क्लोजर, ये स्टॉक मेरे रिकमेंडेड लिस्ट में है फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट, क्योंकि आने वाले 10 साल में मुझे लगता है रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी इज अ सेक्टर जो मल्टीबैगर हो सकता है, खास
ओके।
करके इंडिया के लिए। तो इरडा होल्ड कीजिए सर। डेफिनेटली अभी पेन होता है स्टॉक के प्राइस को देख के, बट आई थिंक 140 जब तक इंटैक्ट है तब तक ये स्टॉक अच्छा है। मुझे लग रहा है 235 240 वापस हम देखेंगे। सो होल्ड कीजिए इरडा को।
होल्ड करके रखिए एरिडा को। आपके लिए अवनीश जी यही सलाह है कि आप ऑलरेडी 1 ईयर से होल्ड कर चुके हैं, और ये एक ऐसे स्पेस में है जहां पर फ्यूचर काफ़ी ब्राइट है। तो अगर आप अपना लॉन्ग टर्म का होराइजन रख सकते हैं, 1-2 साल तक के लिए रुक सकते हैं, तो आप वेट कर लीजिए, क्योंकि इस समय पे एग्जिट करने का भी कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है। आप इतनी बड़ी क्वांटिटी को लॉस में बेचेंगे तो कुछ का मानना है डेफिनेटली ये स्पेस काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है, बढ़िया रिटर्न्स आगे जाके मिल सकते हैं, पर टाइम टू टाइम आप डेफिनेटली गाइडेंस एक्सपर्ट से लेते रहिए इस स्टॉक के ऊपर और अपनी पोजीशन के ऊपर। नेक्स्ट हमारे पास सवाल है रत्ना प्रभा का। ये भी बीईएल के बारे में पूछना चाह रही हैं, एट एन एवरेज प्राइस ऑफ 312, और ये पूछना चाह रही हैं कि क्या 50% प्रॉफिट बुक कर लें या होल्ड करके रखें। दूसरा स्टॉक इनका ल्यूपिन के ऊपर है, जहां पर एवरेज 2,117 रुपये पर खरीदा हुआ है। अब ये पूछना चाह रही हैं यहाँ पर क्या करें। तो एक डिफेंस का शेयर है और एक इनके पास फार्मा का शेयर है। ऑलरेडी बीएल में प्रॉफिट्स में आ चुके हैं, तो जानना चाह रही हैं क्या हाफ प्रॉफिट बुक करके बाकी क्वांटिटी रखे रहें, और ल्यूपिन में क्या कर सकती हैं। अभी 2100 के ऊपर का भाव है, तो अभी ये प्राइस अभी इनका आया नहीं है। दोनों में क्या सलाह रहेगी आपकी?
ल्यूपिन में मेरे ख्याल से शायद प्रॉफिट बुक कर सकते हैं। मुझे लगता है कि फार्मा स्टॉक एज अ इन्वेस्टमेंट या ट्रेडिंग पर्सपेक्टिव साइडवेज रहेगा, क्योंकि अभी मोमेंटम में है मार्केट, तो हाई बीटा सेक्टर वुड बी द इन फोकस। तो ल्यूपिन में मेरी राय है कि प्रॉफिट बुक कर लीजिए। बट बीईएल बीएचईएल ये सब स्टॉक्स ने तो अभी उसका रैली शुरू की है, तो होल्ड ऑन टू दैट स्टॉक, बट यू कैन बुक प्रॉफिट्स ऑन ल्यूपिन।
चलिए ठीक है, उम्मीद करते हैं यहाँ पर भी आपको एक सजेशन मिल गया होगा। लेकिन बार बार जो लोग बीएल के ऊपर एचयूएल के ऊपर सवाल पूछ रहे हैं, ओवरऑल कुछ आपका व्यू जान लेते हैं पूरे ही डिफेंस क्षेत्र के ऊपर। पिछले 2 महीने में हमने काफ़ी रिकवरी देखी इस पूरे क्षेत्र में, फ्रॉम द रीसेंट लोज जो हमने देखे थे। आज भी अगर आप देखें इंडिया का डिफेंस इंडेक्स 4% ऊपर है, और जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशंस में इस स्पेस में काफ़ी ज़्यादा फोकस रहा है, क्योंकि बहुत सारी निजी कंपनियां हैं जहां पर जिन्होंने प्रोवाइड करे काफ़ी सारे इक्विपमेंट्स इंडियन आर्म फोर्सेस को, और जो इस्तेमाल भी हुए, भले ही वो एविएशन स्पेस में हो, भले ही वो नेवी स्पेस से हो, भले ही वो आर्म फोर्सेस स्पेस से हो, काफ़ी सारे इंडियन कंपनी से यहाँ प्रोडक्ट्स दिए हैं। और प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी ने भी अपनी स्पीच में ये बोला कि टाइम हैज़ कम फॉर मेड इन इंडिया इक्विपमेंट, और इस वजह से हमने देखा है कि डिफेंस क्षेत्र में एक बार फिर से मोमेंटम वापस से आ रहा है। तो जिन लोगों ने बहुत पीक पे ख़रीदा था, अब धीरे धीरे करके उनके लेवल्स के आसपास आ चुके हैं, और जिन लोगों ने अभी तक ये इस रैली में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं किया था, उनके लिए भी मैं आपसे जानना चाहती हूँ क्या सजेस्ट करेंगे। आज देखिए बीडीएल में कितनी तेज़ी है, एचएल बीएल में है, शिप बिल्डर स्टॉक्स में एक बार वापस से फोकस आ रहा है। आप किस तरीके से डिफेंस के इस फ्रेश मूव को जज कर रहे हैं?
डेफिनेटली डिफेंस मूव में एक बात तो है कि जिस हिसाब से प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने ये बात भी बोली है कि वी आर फोकसिंग ऑन मेक इन इंडिया, डेफिनेटली जो भी हथियार यूज हुए, जो भी वेपन्स यूज हुए, उसका रीऑर्डर आएगा, तो डिफेंस सेक्टर इज गोइंग टू बी इन डिमांड फॉर नेक्स्ट 2 to 3 years. सो शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेडिंग नहीं, डेफिनेटली लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट के हिसाब से ये स्टॉक सेक्टर में इन्वेस्टमेंट करना चाहिए. मेरी फेवरेट पिक अगर टेक्निकली लेवल्स की बात करें तो HAL है, क्योंकि 4200 इज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग सपोर्ट, और सपोर्ट के आसपास ही ये स्टॉक मिल रहा है. तो अगर किसी ने ऑलरेडी पोजीशन बनाई हुई है ये सब स्टॉक्स में तो होल्ड कीजिए, बट फ्रेश पोजीशन अगर ये सेक्टर में बनानी है तो HAL में करिए.
चलिए ठीक है, उम्मीद करते हैं यहाँ पर भी आपको राय मिल चुकी है कि कैसे डिफेंस के इस फ्रेश मूव को देखना है व्यूअर्स. आज के सेशन में हम काफ़ी दमदार मूव देख रहे हैं और ऐसे में किस तरीके से आपको इसको जज करना चाहिए ये भी डेफिनेटली फोकस में रखिए. नेक्स्ट हम लेते हैं सवाल, ये सत्या का सवाल है, आईटी सेक्टर में से पूछना चाह रहे हैं. तो ओवरऑल आईटी सेक्टर पर व्यू बता दीजिए कुछ आपका क्या है. आज यहाँ पर वीकनेस नज़र आ रही है लेकिन कुछ इम्प्रूवमेंट हमने अर्निंग्स के दौरान देखा है. और दूसरा इसी स्पेस से एक्सेलिया सॉल्यूशंस के शेयर को आपसे पूछना चाह रहे हैं कि मिड कैप क्षेत्र में और विप्रो को लार्ज कैप स्पेस में लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए अगर खरीदना हो तो क्या ये दोनों स्टॉक्स रेकमेंडेड हैं या फिर नहीं. एक्सेलिया सॉल्यूशंस 1373 आज 1% ऊपर है. विप्रो में हालांकि आज थोड़ी वीकनेस है आईटी सेक्टर में वीकनेस के दौरान.
डेफिनेटली आईटी स्टॉक्स मुझे अच्छे लग रहे हैं, क्योंकि नास्डैक इज आल्सो रिकवरिंग, और जो जिस हिसाब से अर्निंग्स भी आया है, मुझे लग रहा है आईटी में थोड़ा बूस्ट रहेगा. ओनली कंसर्निंग फैक्टर इज स्ट्रेंथनिंग रूपी. तो मेरे ख्याल से वो एक थोड़ा इश्यू है, बट ओवरऑल मुझे लग रहा है कि जो हमने करेक्शन देखा है तो शॉर्ट कवरिंग मूव देखेंगे. तो आईटी स्टॉक्स में फ्रेश पोजीशन शायद मैं अभी ये लेवल पे नहीं दूंगा, बट वेट वेट एंड वॉच. थोड़ा करेक्शन है, उसके बाद हम लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए इन्वेस्टमेंट करेंगे. Otherwise, all the stocks, had given a good return yesterday. So wait for a correction of percent or two, then we'll enter for long term.
Okay, got that. Fair point. I hope this has also answered your question as far as some of the stocks are concerned. We have many other viewers who are joining in. Vinita, Nikhil, Sindhu, मिस्टर चंद्रहास, बहुत सारे लोग अपने सवाल लेकर जुड़ रहे हैं हमारे साथ. वार्म वेलकम टू ऑल ऑफ यू. कीप सेंडिंग इन योर क्वेश्चंस एंड वील टेक एज मेनी क्वेश्चंस एज वी कैन. लेट्स स्टार्ट ऑफ विद विनीता गुप्ता. She says, good afternoon Sakshi, I want to know about two stocks, Wockhardt Pharma and Supriya Life Sciences. Can you please suggest any fresh entry level and support level as well for both these stocks? Okay, Wockhardt Pharma has had a good year in the past. 2024 was a very good year for the company, and the second one is Supriya Life Sciences, again a stock which actually gave a lot of momentum based returns for investors. It's been now sideways. Let's see what is the fresh approach that we can have on both Supriya Life Sciences at 663 and also Wockhardt Pharma at the current levels. Kush.
Both of the stocks I would avoid, because I think Supriya Life Science is into sideways zone, and I believe 640 is what we can test on the downside. So Supriya Life Sciences is avoid. Even Wockhardt has had a good run up, but actually I believe pharma stocks are going to enter a time-wise correction phase. So from current level, I don't see much upside. Yes, maybe we can see around 1400 levels, but I don't see a big move on pharma stocks. So if you want to invest for even 4 to 6 months, I think high beta sector could be auto stocks. So if you want to invest for 4 to 6 months, something like Bajaj Auto or Tata Motors can be on your watch list.
Okay, got that. That's the key, outlook that you are getting as far as the stock queries are concerned. We have the next question, and this one is from one of our viewers, who is Nikhil Das, and Nikhil is from Kerala. He says, hi Sakshi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Nikhil. Hope you're doing well. His question is that could you please recommend 2 to 3 stocks for investment for a period of 5 years? Okay, Nikhil, we'll definitely toss that question to our guest who is here. Kush, somebody who is unfazed with the kind of current situation that we are in, uncertainties on geopolitical front, uncertainties on the trade front, and the economic slowdown concerns and whatever we're faced with right now. But looking at the investors who have set their eyes 5 years from now, we are definitely not going to be at the same price that we are in at the current levels at 24,700 on the Nifty. So if somebody is keeping that longer horizon, any key stocks that you could suggest?
So definitely, few stocks which I would suggest is, first is like auto stocks. I believe, Tata Motors could benefit a long term from all the trade war which has been, settled down, fizzled out. So I think Tata Motors is at attractive levels. The first stock from auto would be Tata Motors. Stop loss around 640 and target for 5 years can be around 1100. Second stock is Bharti Airtel because data is something like a it's like oxygen to us. So I think Bharti Airtel is doing good and African operations are improving. So 17, 18 can be your stop loss and around 2200 is my target on Bharti Airtel. Third is from FMCG. Again, Tata Group stock, Tata Consumer. As I always say, Tata Consumer is catering, all class of people in India. It has, something like Tata Salt and it has a wide range to almost like Starbucks. So I think Tata Consumer is going to be a slow mover, but definitely it's going to be a multi-bagger. So stop loss with 980, Tata Consumer can be in your portfolio. Target for next 5 years is around 1600. Fourth, I believe hospitality industry is going to boom. So lemon tree is on my watch list. So lemon tree can be bought with a stop loss of around 110. Target can be around 240. And fifth sector, which I always mention, is renewable energy. So we will be play safe on that and buy IRDA at current levels. I believe IRDA could touch 240 with a stop loss of 140.
Okay, got that. I hope all the viewers have definitely taken that now. In case you want to really look away from what you are seeing at the current stage and you actually want to create a portfolio with stocks that can actually in the long term continue to give you great wealth creation, definitely take all these stock recommendations from Kush here. Thank you, Kush, for being with us on the Daily Calls edition today and helping all our viewers with their stock queries and, of course, your suggestion on the markets and the key strategies there. Always appreciate your presence. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, time to get into the second segment now. We have Mr. Gaurav Sharma, Associate Vice President and Head of Research at Globe Capital, now joining in to share his views on the markets and take some questions from our viewers as well. Gaurav, good morning, good afternoon, rather, and thank you so much for taking the time out. I want to first
Good
begin
afternoon, sir.
by understanding from you, how are you looking at the constantly changing, and evolving situation both on the geopolitical front and on the tariff front. One day we hear things are getting normal. The other day, there is again some issues on the geopolitical front, some ceasefire being violated. There's some more action. So yesterday's reaction to things absolutely getting calmed down is again turning into that it is an evolving situation. Whether we are past it or not, we do not know. Secondly, on the tariff front, there was good news yesterday that China and US are settling down, but then there is again a question on what happens with India and US on the tariff front, and seems like there is kind of a rough patch with US sending out signals that with India it's going to take time. India taking a very aggressive approach on some counter, tariffs being put on US. So rather than looking at a negotiatory approach, which we had first initially thought that India will benefit from, it seems like India is changing their stance. Why this is happening is anyone's guess. But how would you, as an investor, reading to such flexible things?
You rightly mentioned that the stance is changing very frequently, and that actually impacts investors' wealth because if we have invested, if we have had a strategy, an investor is having a portfolio, they might have to shift, which a retail investor finds very difficult because, with the changing environment, with every single day some other news front coming in, so we just have to keep a look at the broader picture at hand, which is that the negotiations are on, whether it is India and US, whether it is US and China. Now when we look at the border related issues, it is still hot out there. Things have yet not settled down. Yesterday night as well, we saw some drones entering, although the army, I guess, said that they were more for a surveillance purpose, but still the things are on. So what a trader or investor must do in this scenario, the best thing is to keep light, Secondly, adopt a long term approach rather than sticking to a short term or a very short term period, because volatility will be at its peak and that will have an adverse impact on the trading style.
Okay, got that. That's the view that is being shared on the overall macros at this point in time. Now, Gaurav, we do have to discuss many aspects, and these stocks are again trying to find out, whether they can look at another set of an upward rally. Any suggestion on this one?
Yeah, just give me a second. I have not tracked the stock of late, but the kind of chart pattern that the stock is having currently, it clearly indicates indecision, and therefore a sideways kind of a movement is witnessed. From a trading standpoint, I do not recommend buying the stock at the moment. If the viewer is already having a position, then it is better to take a stop at 920, closing stop at 920, and utilize the any bounce towards 1100 to book your position.
Okay, got that. That's the view that's coming in. Let's take some questions from our WhatsApp number also. Some of them have written in afresh on our WhatsApp. We'll start taking some questions from there too. Momita from Kolkata wants to know about Tata Motors. Earnings today at 707. She says, I have already purchased this stock at 707, but this was before the tariffs were announced. This stock at 707, but this was before the tariffs were announced. Slowly and gradually, the stock price is also again hovering around 714 odd levels now. She wants to know what should her stance be, because there's been a long time when investors struggled for a period of time for them to see that the prices come back above 700. But do you think things are back on track for Tata Motors?
Yes, I think that it's pretty much back on track. It will be releasing its numbers soon, so better to advise post that. But as of now, I'll restrict my advice to what I see on charts and what they are indicating, what the geopolitical situation with respect to this particular stocks is coming out, that the UK India trade pact is a positive for this company, as well as the China US deal is also positive for this company. If as the Chinese market stabilizes, Jaguar Land Rover drives a reasonable amount of their revenue from the Chinese market. So overall, things are improving. It is good time to buy or even hold this stock. If you are having a short-term trading position, keep a stop loss at 640 and look for targets close to 800, 850 in the coming 1 to 2 months.
Okay, got that. I hope, Momita, this has helped you out in understanding your key questions answered there. We also have a question from Satyan from Trishur. He wants to know about Prince Pipes. He holds the stock at 270 since a couple of months, and he wants to know, can I add some more? I do have a target in mind also for this stock of around 350 or thereabouts. I want to know whether in the next 1.5 years I could see levels like 350 on the stock on Prince Pipes. He held the position at 270.
First of all, the formation of Prince Pipe is really poor. It has nosedived from 700 odd levels, currently trading at 270. Yes, some bit of accumulation and a bounce is witnessed at lower levels, but it is too early to comment whether it will be a sustainable bounce or not. For a risky trader, I would say that yes, you can take a bet around these levels, take a stop at 240 odd levels, look for targets close to 320, as the viewer is also looking at somewhat close to those levels. So it will be a risky bet to trade in, as he has already has a position. Just keep a stop at 240 and hold.
Okay, got that. I hope, Satyan, you've got the answer to your question there. Please do follow the advice shared by our guest. We have Shiva from Andhra Pradesh now joining in. He wants to know about South Indian Bank. He bought the stock at 28 rupees and he wants to know what his next course of action should be. 1000 shares he has, and he wants to also know whether he can add afresh any more stocks. So 26.4 is the current level, 28 is his purchase price, a small ticket and third rung kind of a stock in the space. What is your suggestion on this one?
Stock is gradually moving up. Overall, it is trading sideways in a broad range of 23 and 27.75 on the higher side. So 27.50, 27.75 would be a breakout level. It is better to hold on to your position patiently, and for a short-term trader, 25 must be a closing stop loss.
Okay,
Once the
fair
stock
point.
is able to
Yeah.
surpass 28, it is likely to head towards 32. So I think it's a good time to just stick around with it.
Okay, got that. Hopefully, this has helped you out in understanding the strategy there. Coming back to our YouTube questions, then we have this question coming in from one of our viewers, Mr. Chandrahas. He wants to know about Kalyan Jewelers and whether the stock can be looked at the current levels again. So let's look at Kalyan Jewelers. The earnings did come around, a day or so back, and we have actually seen that the stock. Which was already down from a high level, did see some kind of a bounce. Even today, it's up by about 2 odd percent. And in case we look at the current earnings front, let's actually highlight for all our viewers how the earnings fell in. So the net profit and the revenue rose by over 36%. Final dividend was also declared as well. Do you think the company is out of the recent woods that we had seen it enter into?
Yes, Sashi, it looks that yes, it is all set for a fresh up move, and the results have also been numbers have been decent, and even though the stock has halved in a very short time span, it has consolidated reasonably well around 450, 400 odd levels, and now it is set for a fresh journey towards 620, 630 in the coming weeks. So it is better to hold on to your position. If someone is interested in taking fresh positions, then yes, fresh positions can also be built here around these levels. The stop loss would be around 510, 510 stop loss, 632 target.
Okay. Next, we have a question from our viewer Manoj Bhai Kapadia. He says, किस भाव से आर कबेल्स बाय कर सकते हैं? मैं अहमदाबाद गुजरात से हूँ और पूछना चाहता हूँ आर कबेल्स का फ्यूचर. We did see in some time back, the wires and cable segment again coming back in focus. आर कबेल, पॉलीकैब, हैवल्स, earnings इन सब की आई. आर कबेल पर आपका क्या व्यू रहेगा गौरव?
आरआर केबल में हमने ऑफलेट एक अच्छा अपटिक देखा है, और
Okay.
इस स्टॉक के अंदर 1000 रुपए से ये रीसेंट अपमूव स्टार्ट हुआ है, अभी 1300 के ऊपर सस्टेन कर रहा है, वॉल्यूम भी अच्छे चल रहे हैं, तो अभी भी होल्ड कर सकते हैं अपनी पोजीशन को, और एक थोड़ा और गुंजाइश यहाँ से बाकी है टिल 1375। मोस्ट ऑफ द जर्नी रीसेंट अपमूव की कवर हो चुकी है, 1375 के अराउंड आता है तो वहां पे एक बार प्रॉफिट बुकिंग बनती है, फिर अगर डिप मिले 11 साढ़े 1100 के अराउंड, दैट वुड बी द टाइम टू टेक अ फ्रेश एंट्री।
Okay, fair point. Manoj Pai, I hope you've taken down the strategy that's been shared with you on this talk. Let's take another one. This is Sindhu Ramdas who wants to know, can I invest in Bharat Forge at the current levels? Okay, we'll definitely help you out. Let's look at Bharat Forge also as a stock price, and let's see how the stock is moving. In trade today, we can see Bharat Forge 1216 is the level at which it's trading, 1.5% higher. Last 5 days, the momentum built on again on the defense move, 10% higher. Last 1 month, about 13 odd percent. And if we look at the last 6 months, it's been sideways. Last 1 year, it's actually been a downhill from all the way up to the levels that we saw for the company back in the month of June of 2024, when it was at peak 1791, all the way down that we did see in the month of April again. We've seen 970 kind of levels as well, and from there that's been a bounce. Bharat Forge and the entire defense space as an outlook that you could share amidst the current conflict conditions.
You have spoken almost everything about the stock. I wonder what should I speak now. Anyway, so yes, Bharat Forge is on verge of a recovery phase now. Among the defense pack, this has been a laggard, and it has started its up move journey just couple of days back, as Sakshi rightly mentioned, from somewhere around 1100 odd levels, currently trading at 1200, 1216. So it is facing some bit of resistance around its 200 period exponential moving average, which is just placed around 1230. But I don't really think that this hurdle will be held. But this stock is more likely to surpass this hurdle and head towards 1400, 1450 odd levels in the immediate near term. So this is a good time to buy Bharat Forge. You may even buy outright or consider it at a gradual accumulation. The stop loss should be placed a little below 1100 mark.
Fair point. I hope, Sindhu, this has answered your question. Let's look at the markets again. We are now down almost 270 points. So we are at 24,650. That's at the risk of being taken out. It's being taken out now, 24,644. The key stocks that are actually contributing on the downside on the markets, you can actually see the Nifty swiftly turning now 1% lower in trade. And HDFC Bank is contributing on the losses side. ICICI Bank is contributing on the losses side. IT stocks like Infosys, TCS are contributing on the losses side. Reliance is also contributing about 21 points on the lower side as well. Let's look at where the pressure is building on. It's the IT pack. Now it was down by 1.5%. It's down by 1.8% now. Even on FMCG, it's down by 1.2%. You're also seeing financial services, private banks also lose a tad bit now, with the large cap private sector banks also coming under pressure. PSU stocks have now flattened out in trade. On the Nifty, if you look, I think the stocks in the gaining list have shrunk now to about 10 odd stocks, but the rest of the stocks are still lower. Infi is the top loser, 3% of a cut. HCL Technologies 2.5% lower. Eternal, Bharti Airtel, Power Grid, these are all the stocks that are coming under pressure. Gaurav, how do you see this fresh wave of profit booking that's coming in? We did see a sharp rally yesterday, a 4% up move, but some of those gains are being taken out now. What does this current, move on the markets really signify?
I think this is just a counter move of the exceptional run up that was witnessed in yesterday's trade. Whichever spaces performed well are taking a breather today. I think this is just a pause, and this type of a profit taking should be considered healthy, and it might extend a little bit more from these levels. Even a 24,450 odd level is also possible from here. But I think from that point, buying interest would set in, and we would see the recovery phase resuming.
Okay, got that. Viewers, will continue to keep an eye out on how the markets are shaping up at this point in time, and we'll continue to really keep you updated with all the fresh moves on the markets at this point in time as well. Let's take the next question. This one is from Jay. He wants to know about Uno Minda, and we also have Vinita asking on an auto ancillary that's Samvardhan Motherson. So let's take both the questions together because it's from the same space. Uno Minda, the question is at whether I should hold it at the current, he's been holding it at 1080, so it slipped a bit now at 950 odd levels, or Samvardhan Motherson, that's the question. Bought at 120 odd levels. Which one would you prefer at the current levels, Samvardhan Motherson or Uno Minda?
Yes, they fall in the same line, being in auto ancillary space. But a very important thing is that Motherson Sumi drives a large chunk of its revenue from Europe, while when we look at Uno Minda, it is a domestically driven company. So I'll be focusing on something that is more of a domestic in nature. So I'll go with Uno Minda as of now when we are comparing these two stocks. Although the stock has of late not been able to perform, same is the case with Motherson also. So as of now, none of these two stocks are giving a buy signal. But for a long-term perspective, I'll stick with Uno Minda. If there is some investor looking for a 1 to 2 years horizon, so I'm quite hopeful that this stock will once again head towards 12, 1300 kind of levels comfortably in that time span.
Okay. Well, I hope this has helped you out. We have some other questions coming in on our WhatsApp too. Bhaskar writes in, says, hi Sakshi, good day. Good day to you as well, Bhaskar. He says, I want to first thank Business Today Television for the quality of experts that you get on the channel to help all our retail investors out. Thank you so much, Bhaskar. And I will extend, your appreciation to our guest right now. And we will definitely hope that we can help you out with the right advice for all of you. His question is on Yes Bank now. now. Gaurav, his question is that he's been holding 1,000 shares of Yes Bank at 17 levels. The stock of late did show a bounce. There has been a lot of question about mergers, acquisitions of late. That has brought some fresh momentum onto Yes Bank. Today also, the stock is hovering around 21 odd levels. So he's holding on in for profits. Today also, the stock is up by 3.2%. But what is the suggestion that you would give? Do you think he can continue to hold on for incremental uptick that could come in, or should he book partially?
Since the viewer is having a position from 17 odd levels and the stock is currently trading at 21 and he has made a reasonable return out of it, considering the volatile nature of the stock, I would say that this is the time we should consider booking some profits, taking some profits off the table, and for the remaining one, keep a stop loss at close to 20, make it a closing stop loss and just go on holding with the position and also keep trailing the position upward with every rise.
Okay. Hopefully this has helped you. Let's take another one. This one again is from our WhatsApp. We have Hari Haran from Chennai writing in, and he wants to know about Power Infra Invit. He's been holding 2,000 units at an average cost of 104. He wants to know what should his what should be the suggestion on this one. And the second one is IRB Infra Invit at 64. So he's entered in the Invits and he wants to know whether that's the right way to go about it. Power Infra Invit and IRB Infra Invit. Do you track any?
No, I'm afraid I don't track any of the invits.
Okay. Unfortunately, we won't be able to answer this time your question, but definitely we'll keep in mind. Next time we have another guest who can address you on the same, we'll definitely take your question on the same as well. We'll take just like one more question that's coming in. Ankur wants to know about Niva Bupa and NTPC Green for the long term. Any of the stocks that you particularly like?
Yes. NTPC Green is a stock that we have been tracking it. So from a long-term perspective of 2 years and a more time horizon, yes, NTPC Green can be considered around current levels, which is
Okay.
101. So this can be a reasonable bet. But from a short-term perspective, it is better to avoid.
Okay.
Now,
Only
we
if you
have
have a
not been
long-term
tracking.
perspective, then you have to go for an NTPC Green. Got that. Please continue.
Yeah, I have not been tracking Neva Bupa of late, so won't be able to comment on it.
Sure. Now, Gaurav, before we let you go, could you help us understand, your the stocks that have fresh come onto your radar after the recovery that we have recently seen? Anything that you are incrementally confident on building on the positions?
So the first stock that came to my radar today was Escorts. Although it has rallied reasonably from where I was looking at it, but still, I think a lot of steam is left. Currently trading at 343527. This stock has just started moving up, and it is looking pretty upbeat. 3800, 3850 levels are pretty much possible in the coming 1 to 2 weeks. Traders should keep a stop loss at 3375. Another stock is Bharat Forge. We have already discussed about it. I'll just repeat the levels. So one can take a long position around current levels, keeping a stop loss at 1150 and look for targets close to 1350 in the immediate near term. Other than that, AB Capital has also started moving up. It is also looking good. So some bit of buying interest, fresh buying interest is seen at current levels, trading at 208. We can go long keeping a stop loss at 190. There the position would be for a 2 to 3 months time horizon and targets close to 240, 245 can be expected.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also helped all our viewers who are looking for fresh ideas that Gaurav has shared. I hope you've taken that down. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time with us, and thanks for guiding in all our viewers with their stock queries and patiently addressing all their questions too. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
All right, we'll now wrap it up on that note as far as daily calls is concerned, viewers. 12:51 right now. We're over a percent cut now on the Nifty, 24,650 and thereabouts. Let's see whether in the last 2.5 hours of trade we do see some pullback from this level at this point, or are the worries only going to increase and probably take out some more gains of yesterday. But there is no need to panic at this point in time. Remember, yesterday was the biggest day of gain for the Nifty in absolute terms. And if you're giving up some because of the fresh concerns that are emerging, it could be a knee-jerk. Let's see how soon this thing stabilize on the markets front. Stay tuned with us on Markets Today and on Business Today television throughout the course of the day. We will continue to get you all the insights from top market masters and earnings conversations that continue to follow. Stay tuned.
Now I will show you another clip which will tell you the story.
घबराहट तो लोगों की नजर आ रही है क्योंकि तमाम एयरवेज ध्वस्त होते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं।